Hello humans and fur babies, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be doing a doll transformation, which is not something that I've done on my channel before. I actually have done a doll transformation before. I turned my friend's drawing of the lampshade lady into a doll. However, I lost all the footage, long story, so you haven't actually seen me do it, but I have done one doll transformation before. Now, I watch doll transformations on YouTube a lot. My favourite is Papa Natalia. She's a genius at it.
Hello everyone!
Essentially what you do is you take a doll and you give it a makeover. So my sister saw this woman in Tasmania do this exact thing with BRATZ dolls. And she turned these hoary looking BRATZ sluts into like dolls that you want your children to play with. She called them tree change dolls.
Because I love dolls.
So my sister thought it was awesome, so she started collecting BRATZ dolls, and she was going to do the same thing. So this is as far as she got. She basically took off the makeup and gave it creepy eyes. And then she came over and said, look, I've got all these dolls, I'm never going to do it, so you have them. So now I've got all these dolls that I've got to do something with. So, one of my favourite TV characters ever is Myrtle Snow, who was a character from American Horror Story Coven, beautifully portrayed by Frances Conroy. Now, why Myrtle Snow is such an icon is she was one of the good witches on the Witches' Council, but she had this beautiful, fiery Grace Coddington type hair, and she wore these incredible couture outfits and totally fashion forward, and she was just fabulous. So, I am going to turn this BRATZ doll into Myrtle Snow.
You are the worst kind of Hollywood cliche. A bobblehead with crotchless panties.
The first thing we're going to try and do is dye her blonde hair orange. I've seen people do this. This is a polyester dye. I'm assuming this is nylon hair, and we're going to dye it. If it doesn't work, I can chop it off and make a wig, but I thought we'd give this a crack first. Right, jeez. Okay. Gee, that's a good colour. Whoa, that's coming out. Oh my god, that's really bad. Let's soak it longer and see if that helps.
What happened with your hair?
Actually, I think we could do with a change of style. Can you change it?
Well, I can, but first your hair's got to really want to change.
As you can see, it didn't dye at all. It stained her skin really bad, but it didn't dye the hair. So now we need to remove the hair, and I'm going to have to put on hair later. So I finally got all of the hair root out from the inside. This is all the glue and crap that's inside this head. She looks like she's got a carrot tan from the 70s. So clearly these BRATZ dolls are babies with whore makeup. So in order to make her look like an old woman, I want to build up her face a little bit. So I'm just marking out where I'm going to add clay. So I start by building out her brow bone, and I also want to sink her eyes in a little bit. I'm going to bring out her cheekbones and try and sink in her cheeks a little bit and give her a bit of a jowl. I also need to redefine her nose because it's very flat and petite. So I am just looking at a reference of Myrtle Snow and trying to build up the facial features using Epoxy Sculpt. This is the best clay to use, I find, because it doesn't shrink, it dries really hard, and you can sand it and things afterwards. You can use water to smooth out the clay as you're working, which I'm trying to do, but my fingers are just mushing all the clay around everywhere, so I'm sort of making it worse, trying to make it better, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. I made the gloves out of Epoxy Sculpt too. And now I'm going to sand it all back and just make things a bit more defined.
Oh, Sid, listen to the celestial tones.
What is that thing? It's hideous and weird.
Don't be a hater, dear. It's a theremin. I cannot tell you how playing this instrument soothes my soul in tempestuous times.
What happened to your nose?
So all these doll artists seem to use Mr. Superclear, so that's what I bought as well.
Mr. Superclear!
And basically it gives it a matte surface and the paint and the pencils can stick to it so you can draw on it and stuff. So I'm just putting on a base coat of white so I can start building things up. So here she is after a couple of layers of white paint, ready to start building her skin tone and things like that. She no longer looks like Denise. I did actually give her a skin tone that was a bit less white, but you can't really tell. It looks exactly the same, but it isn't. It's a bit warmer because I want to keep her pale. And also I'm painting her gloves because the reference that I'm going for, the picture that I'm copying is this amazing photo of Myrtle Snow wearing this pussy bow polka dot dress with these amazing orange yellow leather gloves. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to copy. So everything leading up to this point was basically piss easy. This face up shit is so fucking hard. I don't know how these doll transformation people do it because I struggled so bad on this, trying to get things symmetrical, drawing on like a surface with these pencils and shit. It was a fucking nightmare. Seriously. I really can't say I enjoyed it. It stressed me out. Anyway, I kept going. Somehow I got to this point. And then we got to about here. And I still think she looks a bit like Denise.
I like chasing cars.
So I ended up getting out the acrylic paints to try and define and give some symmetry to her eyes in particular, brighten her lips, exaggerate the lines and the contouring and things like that. Then we ended up with this. And I decided to put a matte varnish over everything to seal it, and I'll put a glossy varnish on her eyes and lips. I ended up being quite happy with it. It's probably a little bit more cartoony than I wanted. I wanted it to be a bit more realistic, but that's what ended up happening. Next I moved on to her outfit. As I said, this is the outfit that we're creating. So I found this old scarf at a secondhand clothing market, which fitted perfectly. It already had a finished edge with this like larger polka dot, so I decided to make that the hem of the skirt on the dress. Made a little pattern, cut it all out and stitched it all together. Making the clothes was up there with the face up. Stitching so small, so hard.
I had a love like that once. Egon von Furstenberg. He dumped me. But everything worked out all right in the end. You know why? Because he went on to marry the divine Diane. And without Egon's support, Diane von Furstenberg never would have created the greatest invention of the century, the wrap dress.
Next was the little black jacket. So I used the same pattern and just fanned it out and dropped the armhole, made it a bit bigger because it's a bit oversized. The sleeves are going to be short because I want to show off the gloves. And the front's going to be open. I'm just going to tie it and secure it with a belt. So again, little work. So the gloves and the glasses for me are sort of like the signature of this outfit. The beautiful orangey yellow gloves and her amazing cat eye glasses. So I'm actually going to be using a reference of a different pair of glasses she wore which had a double cat eye, which I just thought was really cool. But then this is the saga of the glasses. I started trying to make them out of wire. That didn't work. Then I tried making them out of epoxy, which they were a bit chunky. I didn't love them, but I thought this is my best option. And then they broke. And then I decided I would make them out of plastic. So I got my trusty Tupperware container that I've already made glasses from before on my bottle plant hangers. They actually worked out amazing and I love them. So her hair. Obviously we have the drama at the start, so I have to make a yarn wig. So basically what you do is you get acrylic yarn, you wrap it around, and then you cut it off. You wrap it onto a barbecue skewer, you untwist the yarn and brush it with a cat comb, and then you glue it into little wefts that you're going to then make a wig out of. I couldn't find the exact color I wanted, so I mixed orange and this sort of mustardy color to get the tones that I wanted. And then we start the process of gluing it directly onto her head. You just spiral it around, and then when you get to the part, you sort of glue one side the opposite and fold it back over.
How did your hair grow back so quick?
Oh, little bird, I've been buying in bulk from North Korea for years.
Lastly were her shoes. So these shoes came with the BRATZ doll, and I quite liked the idea of her wearing like a glamorous cowboy boot. So I put the Mr. Super Clear on it.
Mr. Super Clear!
And then I painted them just plain white, then played with the details. So we have like a burgundy and black cowboy boot with some gold details. What I found though when trying to put them on is that I have an imposter BRATZ doll that I've been working on. The boots don't actually fit, so I have to glue them in, but that's okay. Now all of the components are ready, we're ready to put her together. This is what she looks like with her hair finished. I'll just tizzy it up once she's all put together. The gloves turned out such a great colour, it's perfect. This is the dress finished. This is the little jacket that goes with it. Here are her glasses. I ended up spraying them with this emerald green, which I just think looks perfect with her hair. Even though the original glasses are like beige, I thought this speckly emerald green looked awesome. And here are the boots finished. So let me put it all together. I'm going to drill a hole in her bum so I can stick her on a skewer and make a base for her, and then it's ready to reveal.
Any last words?
Only one.
Okay, let's see a before and after. Quite the transformation, I must say. But let's see the doll tizzied up in her original form. Yep, there we go. Look at that transformation from a BRATZ whore to a fashionista witch goddess. Wait, I'm getting some kind of vibe.
Thunderbirds are go.
Please comment below if you enjoyed today's video and would like to see me do another doll transformation, or if you've got any suggestions of other upcycling projects you'd like to see me do on my channel. Please also remember to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and head on over to Inside the Round on Instagram to see more up-close pics of today's project.